Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Sigers, and this time we're joined by Tom Arnold to discuss our latest hands-on time with an updated build of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker from PAX 2014. So let's get started. Alright Tom, well, as you probably know, because you were there, Nintendo had an event recently where one of the games we got playing more of was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. And they actually added a little bit since the E3 build, being specifically 2 new levels, the Star Express Sneak Attack and Mushroom Monument Mayday. No, we've covered both of those pretty extensively before in our analysis, and they were also shown off, I believe, during Nintendo's Treehouse event at E3.
Yeah, they were playable there by the Nintendo staff.
Exactly. So this is our first time actually going hands-on with it. So I thought we'd just have a quick chat about our, hands-on, latest impressions of the game. So Tom, what is your raw reaction to playing more of this game?
My raw reaction is that these levels, you have to be a lot quicker on your toes than the previous ones. I mean, these enemies move pretty fast. At first, they don't look intimidating because you think, oh, whatever, some bitty buds or Shy Guy. They're nothing when you're Mario, but there's something when you're Captain Toad.
That is so true. That actually is a really good way of putting it. Yeah, these enemies are actually a hazard now. Well, like that Shy Guy took me out instantly in the Mushroom Monument level.
He's huge and he's terrifying there. He should be terrifying in the train level, but he's not. But the angle and stuff on the monument level, it's
right.
It's almost like a survival horror.
It kind of is. Especially because it takes a little while to pull up the turnip nearby, which you can kill him with.
Yeah.
I think that's how he got me, actually. I think I was trying to pull it up, and he just took me out.
Oh, I just ran for my life.
So for me, I think the level I most liked, I mean, Mushroom Monument Mayday is very much in the same vein as the others, though.
Yeah.
It's a cube, and very similar to the 3D World ones, even. The one I really liked is the Star Express Sneak Attack, because I think that really showed what more they could do with this game. Kind of like in the boss level we saw at E3, where instead of a cube, you're climbing up a cylinder. Yeah. This one is like just a really long level, where you cross from the back of the train to the front, and then you go underneath to the lower level, and then you cross inside back to the back. And yeah, it just felt like more epic. Like it really felt like more of a. I mean, it felt less like a Captain Toad game than the other levels, if that makes sense.
Definitely more of a complete setting, less of this sort of cube that's been just cut off from reality. You feel
right.
like you're in another environment as opposed to just this self-contained little capsule level, basically.
Actually, that's something you said there. Yeah, it made you feel like you're in a different environment. Yeah, it felt like it was actually part of a world, whereas the other ones are these floating space cubes or whatever. Whereas this one actually took place, on a train on the ground. It actually reminded me of the movie Snowpiercer. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've heard of that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm in the Snowpiercer movie. No, I actually thought it was like surprisingly atmospheric for for a Captain Toad level, based on what we've seen so far. Like you got the snow going on, you've got the engines of the sound effects of the train. I actually really dug that, although that might partially because I love any game that has a train level, like Paper Mario.
How about Gears of War?
Even Gears of War, I think, even though I can't remember offhand.
Yeah, how about Polar Express? No, no, I think it was really smart level design where you start off and you can see the end point, but of course you can't just hop off the back and get to it. You have to go the long way around, but you have your goal in mind as you're going along.
Yeah, it sets you up really well. Like you start at the goal, you just can't get to it. So yeah, it's a really clever way of you having to backtrack, but not really because you're going through a different layer of the train.
Yeah.
But you are kind of familiar with it, and I think we saw a few other new mechanics in that level too, including one part where you have to move these blocks around by tapping them on the gamepad. Basically they're like Tetris pieces, and you have to slide them around just by giving them a quick tap, as I recall.
I have a question. Did you have trouble figuring out the right path for those blocks? I mean, I found it was pretty easy, which is good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy. I mean, because it's, as I recall, you just tap them once, and they move into one place, and tap them again, and they reset. Yeah. So there wasn't like a ton of complexity there.
Yeah.
But that could just be because I think that was like level 5. Of course, who knows if they're gonna be in the same order in the final game. But yeah, I mean, I guess I will say neither of the levels we played were really that puzzling. No. Like I beat the Mayday level, the mushroom one, in probably 30 seconds. I just cruised through that level.
Oh, did you get all the what is it? The coins you have to get?
The stars, I think.
Stars, right? Yeah. Did you collect all 3 stars even?
I think I did. I can't remember for sure. I have to. I was gonna say I'd have to review my footage, but couldn't take footage at the event, unfortunately, for that game. Yeah. So I think I did. I might have missed one maybe. So.
I'll admit I was slowed down a bit by the sort of elevator type action of the platform blocks on the monument level.
To be fair, I did have an advantage, but I analyzed the crap out of that game, so I kind of knew exactly what to do. But yeah, there was something else in the train level too, which I think also was our first time trying, which was the pickaxe you can pick up in the final room with all the bitty buds. And that thing is just kind of awesome, because it just you can finally destroy all the enemies that gave you all this trouble before as Captain Toad.
How was that using it? I missed it, because I think I figured it out later with those, some of the plants you pull up, then you have to pull up again. Like, if you only pull up a bit, they sort of just turn brown.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much to it. If you play the, like the Mario versus Donkey Kong games, or the latest one at least, there's something very similar to that being the hammer. Or, that goes all the way back to Donkey Kong, of course.
I played Donkey Kong.
So, I mean, it just makes you invincible, basically, right? But it's still kind of cool. Like, it actually makes you feel powerful as Captain Toad, who normally is a little bit of a pansy.
He almost looks out of control while using it. Like, he has so much momentum, he can't stop.
It does kind of seem that way, right? Like, the hammer could just go flying up his hand at any second.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key, because they kind of put that in the middle of the level, but I did it without the pickaxe, and that was pretty hard for the timing with those bitty bugs going around, I'll admit.
Although the weird thing is that the hammer or the pickaxe came near the end of the room, so if you got to that far, you could probably make it to the end without it, as you did.
Yeah.
So, but it does look like, I mean, we already know it will play other roles in the game. Yeah. Like in one level, they show off in the trailer, which allows you to break through, I think it was blocks. You can like dig underground, basically, or, pound through a block pile. Yeah, so I'm actually just curious to see what more they show off of this game. Because there was something else actually in that level too. I don't know if you did it, because it's completely optional. But there's one room you go in, and there's nothing to do in that room except for like there's a like a lever hanging. Yeah, a handle. Yeah,
I did that.
And if you, okay, then you figured it out. Yeah, so you just pull on it, tapping on the gamepad, and a 1-up appears, I think, as I recall.
Yeah, and in hindsight, it's in our analysis video.
Yeah, there also is that. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, is there anything we missed? I mean, there really isn't that much to say about this, because it is still, we just played a little bit more of what we played at E3, and we already liked what we saw there, I think.
Well, it's definitely at a faster clip, or, like, it's not as slow-paced as you would assume for Captain Toad. Like, there's definitely a bit more challenge, not in the puzzle sense, but in the enemy sense, in these two levels that we played.
That's true.
And you also have to keep an eye out for secrets. They try to be tricky. At the beginning, there's these crates. You pass the first two crates, like whatever. You pass the third crate, and I rotated the camera around, and one side's completely open for a whole bunch of coins inside. So they always try to make it so you really have to inspect the levels thoroughly.
That actually is a really good point. Like, even more so than 3D World. Like, these levels really do seem to be like just really intricate. Like in the Mushroom Monument level, like there are like little hidden caverns in there that you really have to like even think about a little bit how to get into there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you really do have to like fully rotate that camera. Now I will say, I don't know if you had any trouble with this. And it could have just been because I was at an event. It's always hard for me to fully pay attention to the games I'm playing. So there's so much stuff going on around you. You're trying to pay attention. You're trying to mentally make notes, and you just make sure you see everything. But I had in the train level, I got turned around a couple times. Like I'm like, am I heading back to the front or am I heading to the back? I don't know if you had that at all.
You must have been going crazy changing around the angles.
I did, yeah. I mean, I was playing the camera playing around with the camera a lot. So
maybe at one point around where the 1-up was, maybe I did that once, but I was lucky. I didn't have that happen too often, but I could see that happening pretty easily.
Although now that I think about it, I mean, I think that was mostly when I was indoors, but I think if you're outside, you can just look at which way the ground is traveling in to figure out which way you're facing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a big problem. And who knows if there's even going to be any other levels like arranged like that, because so far I think we've only seen 2 levels that haven't been like a cube. Actually, I guess we've seen a couple more than that. At least
there's a castle level.
Actually, no, we've seen the castle level too, right? So I mean, so far, like every level that's not a cube has been like a very unique shape. Whether it's a tower or like a column room, or the train, or even that side-scrolling level we saw in the trailer that I mentioned with the pickaxe. So I'm really just eager to see more.
In a galaxy level, like a planet.
Oh, I really hope they do something with that, right? Like we can actually like hop between, like if they have little launch stars and you launch between different planets. But at the least, you do know there is one level where you can use cannons in, and you'll like launch from island, seemingly from island to island. So, all right. So with all your playtime so far, Tom, what do you think so far overall, of Captain Toad?
I'd say it's growing on me more as a full retail release. Like originally, I thought, oh, this should be just an eShop download in the non-$50 variety, but it's showing that it has more value than that from what I've played.
Yeah, I mean, I really do dig that train level, and really, I've liked almost all the levels I've played so far, but it is really the train level and the boss level, the volcano one, that really just goes to show like how much farther they're taking this concept, and I really am liking it so far. So yeah, I'm still curious to see how much content there's going to be in the final game. You know, if it is full price, if we do know it's a retail game, would suggest it will be like close to full price. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing there'd be a whole ton of levels, hopefully. So I just want to see what else they do with them.
Yeah, or you have to go through the levels again in a harder mode, because as we saw in Mushroom Monument Mayday, that originally they had about 3 or 4 Shy Guys on top, and all we encountered was 1, and that was hard enough, so maybe there'll be a hard mode.
Oh, dude, can you imagine when there's like 4 Shy Guys there? It's gonna be terrifying. It's gonna be like going against like 4 Regenerators in Resident Evil 4.
Or Regenerators, or even when you have 1 El Gigante and then all of a sudden there's 2 at the end. I'm like, come on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think that wraps up our Captain Toad Treasure Tracker discussion, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. This is a good way to keep up to date with everything we post. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on Captain Toad Treasure Tracker and other things that may or may not have been at the event as well in the near future, plus, you know, everything else we do as well. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.